Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. King, in May, you approved an agreement for teachers and students to attend a so-called Day of Civic Action. The Chicago Teachers Union said a day was necessary because, as was stated in their May Day resolution, public education is facing unprecedented national assault driven by MAGA Republicans. Your district even promised to provide buses and sack lunches to up to 100 schools. Dr. King, are you committed to making the decisions like this fairly, without political bias, and regardless of which party or politician that is being protested?
Thank you for the opportunity to clarify the May 1st. That was a full day of instructional activity, and our students did engage in civic activities, whether in the school or across the district, and that is part of CPS's goals to engage students civically. We do have a Department of Civic Engagement. Okay,
well, would you approve a similar request for teachers and students to attend March for Life and protest the evils of abortion?
This was not a politically slanted event. The day of instruction. So curriculum was expansive, and there were options. The curriculum was decided at the school level, and so were the field trips as well.
Okay. The academic results produced by Chicago Public Schools are among the lowest in urban areas across the country. In 2024, 31% of fourth graders nationwide were at or above NAEP proficiency in literacy, compared to only 23% of the CPS fourth graders. Similarly, 40% of the public school fourth graders were at or above proficiency in math, while Chicago scored a measly 24%. Given academic results produced by CPS schools, increasing education options for families in Chicago is obviously urgent. Would you approve a request for students to support school choice and want to voice their desire via what you would call a protest in favor of more school options and greater educational freedom?
CPS values school choice and parents' ability to choose the type of schools they would like for their child to attend. We have options, public schools, we have district-led schools, charter schools, we have magnet schools for our parents to choose from, as well as selective enrollment schools. So we do support school choice.
Very good. Dr. King, after the 2025 Supreme Court case of Mahmoud versus Taylor, has CPS changed its policy to allow parents to opt out of LGBTQ+ curriculum for religious reasons?
CPS is in compliance with the Illinois state law as far as the opt-out of sexual education curriculum.
But are you following the Supreme Court decision?
We follow all local, state, and binding federal laws.
Okay, well, I'll take that as a non-answer. Dr. Spence, do you allow parents to opt out for religious reasons for LGBTQ policy within your school district?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Dr. Sue?
To the best of my knowledge, we do.
Okay, I don't think the websites for Dr. King or Dr. Sue reflect that to this point, so you might want to update your school's websites. Parents have every right to make decisions, or at least express their views on what type of education their children are receiving in school. However, schools in your district, Dr. Spencer, teachers are receiving school board terrorist training on how to handle parents expressing their views, and even go so far as to call parents agitators and disruptors. Dr. Spence, do you believe that the parents have the right to express their views and have a seat at the table when deciding what their children are learning in classrooms?
Of course I do, and if I could clarify, their teachers never received any such training, and I think what you're referring to is some reporting that our school board may have engaged in some training, which was also inaccurate. There was no training on parents as terrorists. Just to quickly clarify, under Virginia Code, when a school board goes into closed session, part of the language of going into closed session is about terrorist activity. They read the language of going into closed session for the purpose of a safety and security training, and that reporter interpreted that as talking about parents as terrorists. Absolutely untrue and false. Our parents are not terrorists. We work alongside our parents every day, and of course I support the right for our parents to talk with us about their concerns.
Thank you. What steps are you taking to ensure that parents are allowed to speak on their beliefs without being labeled agitators?
I mean, frankly, we don't have to take steps. Our current policies and practices make sure that that happens. We welcome public comment. Our school board receives more public comment, frankly, than any school board I've ever participated in my 15 years as a superintendent, and they welcome it, and they value it, and they take that into account in their decision making.
Thank you. I yield back.
What makes this exchange interesting is that it reveals how education debates in America have increasingly become proxies for larger political battles. On the surface, Congressman Mark Messmer appears to be asking straightforward questions about civic engagement, parental rights, LGBTQ curriculum, and school choice. But underneath those questions is a broader effort to frame public education as an institution that has become politically biased against conservative viewpoints. The first issue raised concerns Chicago Public Schools' participation in what was called a Day of Civic Action. Messmer highlighted language from a teachers' union resolution describing public education as being under assault from MAGA Republicans and then questioned whether the district would provide the same support for causes associated with conservatives, such as anti-abortion activism or school choice advocacy.